Hey guys, it's Mark from the Abstract here again. In this tutorial, we're going to go over triads and their functions. There are many different types of triads. We're going to go over the main popular ones. And there are four popular ones that you hear in modern music today: major triads, minor triads, augmented triads, and diminished triads. The main difference between a triad and what we already know as an interval is that a triad is made up of a group of three notes, whereas an interval is made up of only two. So let's go over the major triad. I've taken the time to create a MIDI region with a major triad already in place in the key of C. So the key of C means that our root will be C. Every triad contains three different elements: a root, a third, and a fifth. Now, the different types of thirds and fifths will vary depending on what type of triad we're working with. But for the most part, each triad will contain a root, a third, and a fifth. A major triad contains a root, a major third, and a perfect fifth. Now, those intervals are all directly related to the root itself. So the first thing we need to determine is, what is a major third from the root? Our root is C. To get a major third, we have to count 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. C to E is a major third. Let's hear what a major third sounds like. Cool. So, next thing we got to determine is what type of fifth it needs. Every major triad contains a major third and a perfect fifth. And if we remember how many steps it took to get a perfect fifth in the last chapter, and if we remember how many steps it took to get a perfect fifth interval, it was 7. So let's count 7 steps from the root. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll unmute this event. So C to G is our perfect fifth. Let's hear what the perfect fifth sounds like. Cool. So since we refamiliarized ourselves with those intervals, now let's group them together to create the triad. This is what a C major triad sounds like. It contains a major third and a perfect fifth. So remember that. Now we're going to move on to minor triads. I'm going to copy this region down. Remember, hold Option and dragging will copy it without deleting it. So we need to differentiate between major and minor. The only difference between a major triad and a minor triad is the third. Whereas a major triad had a major third interval and a perfect fifth, a minor triad contains a minor third and a perfect fifth. All we have to do in this example is lower our major third 1 step to get a minor third. And if we wanted to count what a minor third was from C organically, very simple. 1, 2, 3 steps away from the root would give you a minor third interval. So we have a minor third and a perfect fifth between C and G. Let's hear what this sounds like. I'll mute the major. So you can hear automatically that one sounds happier, more uplifting, and one sounds more melancholy. Now let's talk about augmented triads. I'm going to drag down the major triad region because there's very small changes between a major triad and an augmented triad. So far, the only changes we've made have been delving around the third in a triad. Now we're going to focus on changing the fifth. To get an augmented triad, we need a major third and an augmented fifth. An augmented fifth we achieve by just moving a perfect fifth up 1 single step. And this is what an augmented triad will sound like, with the major third and the augmented fifth. Now, an augmented fifth is another way of saying a minor sixth. But because every triad contains a root, a third, and a fifth, we have to remember that in this particular case, the fifth needs to remain a fifth. Even though it's technically a minor sixth, we need to call it a fifth. So we call it an augmented fifth, a raised fifth. So let's compare a major triad to a augmented triad. Here's a major triad. And here is an augmented triad. A little bit different. Augmented chords are used all over the musical theater and Broadway scene, that's for sure. Now let's talk about the diminished chords, diminished triads. I'm going to bring down the minor triad from before because it's easier to work off of a minor chord, because a diminished triad contains a minor third and a diminished fifth. To get a diminished fifth, all you have to do is lower the fifth as opposed to raising it. Lower a perfect fifth to a diminished fifth by moving it a single half step down. So now, for reference, let's hear what a minor triad sounds like real quick. A C minor triad with a root, a minor third, and a perfect fifth. Diminished triad contains a root, a minor third, and a diminished fifth, a lowered fifth. And it's going to sound even more minor than minor did. So those are the 4 different types of triads that we find in popular music nowadays. Let me take a second to show you how to create these triads on a keyboard. So right here, we can build a C major triad with C, E, and G. C to E is a major third. C to G is a perfect fifth. If we combine them, C major triad. To make a major triad a minor triad, all you got to do is lower the third by a single step. So E becomes E flat, which gives you a minor third and a perfect fifth. A minor triad. Now we're going to go back to major third, perfect fifth, and we're going to raise the fifth a single step up to create an augmented triad. Major third, augmented fifth, augmented triad. Now we're going to go back to the minor position with a minor third and a perfect fifth, and we are going to create a diminished triad by lowering the fifth a single step, which gives you a minor third and a tritone, which is a very dissonant interval. And combined, they sound like this. So, briefly, major, minor, augmented, diminished. And there you have it. Stay tuned for the next lesson on chords.